So I'd play for the girls football team and I'd play for the boys rugby team, but they were both on a Sunday, so sometimes I'd have to play half a match and my parents would drive me across to rugby and I'd still sort of be in my shin pads, or vice versa, I'd be playing football in a gum shield and scrum cap, so that was always funny.
Now it might be on left again, it's going to be Packer.
And Lucy Packer goes herself, scores!
So my first club I joined was my local club, Almond United, when I was 6. But yeah, my first memory would be turning up. I had like this hat on and just with all the boys, and it wasn't until the end of the session that I took my hat off they realised I was a girl. Like they actually thought I was a boy the whole time. I liked a lot of sports when I was younger, like football, rugby. I just liked the competitive element, every sport I wanted to play. Not really sure if it was something sort of about rugby, but team sports I tended to sort of go for. I joined Quins when I was 18, 19 and called my grandmother and sort of said like I've joined Harlequins, and then she happened to say, yeah, you're related to Adrian Stoupe, which I had no idea. It was a complete shock. I didn't have to Google him, obviously I knew the relation to the Stoupe, but sort of didn't know sort of face and stuff like that. But my grandmother always sort of shows me pictures, and sort of she's on the phone to them a lot, and they sort of speak and send photos across and stuff like that, which is cool. So I'm studying biochemistry. I'm in my final year. I've only got 2 modules and a dissertation left, although my final year has taken me 3 years now, unfortunately. I really enjoy studying it. It's something completely different to rugby, and it's sort of, I get that switch off element of when I'm in rugby, and then biochemistry is sort of a completely different world, so I really enjoy sort of doing research and stuff around that when I've got the time. So I was actually in Sweden at the time, coaching a team in Sweden, and I had a call off Scott Beamond saying, you know, you potentially might be going out to San Diego, and this was in 2019. So I got the next flight back, and I was the next day flying to San Diego, and I was 19, never been on a flight on my own before. But yeah, it was a really good experience. Like I remember the coaches saying like they wanted me to be around the environment and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a really good experience. It was in the autumns against USA at Six Ways. The week sort of building up, I can't really remember when we found out, but I just remember having like some of my close friends like Langy around me, which was really nice, and she was, you know, sort of supporting me the whole week, which is really nice because I get quite nervous for games and you often can't really tell by my facial expressions, I've been told, but I do get sort of very nervous, and she was sort of with me the whole time and, you know, with me sort of after the game, so it was really nice to have her there. Yeah, I think it probably sort of started sort of like a couple of weeks before the final when I tore 2 ligaments in my ankle, and sort of I thought that was sort of my World Cup. So I've missed out on the semi-final, but yeah, obviously we have very, very good physios, and I was obviously very determined to try and get back, you know, for our PPP as we used to call it, the contact session. So managed to get back, and unfortunately obviously Leanne picked up an injury, which yeah, I found out the morning of the World Cup final. I remember Mid sitting me down and talking. He must have spoke for around 5 minutes, and I'm quite, you know, as I've mentioned, I don't really give too much away, and I think I just said okay. Like he was speaking for about 5 minutes, saying, you know, this is what's happened, and you know, you're going to be starting all this, and I think I just said okay. Like that was sort of my answer. Obviously I had a lot going on through my mind, but that's all I could get out was just okay, with quite like a straight face. I remember messaging my dad on my iPad because I'd lost my phone in the World Cup, so then had to phone my dad on this massive iPad. I was known as the iPad girl the whole tournament, along with obviously also lost my passport and shrunk my gum shield in the wash. So that was, yeah, it was quite a difficult tournament for me actually. But yeah, the emotions of the day, I don't even think I've processed them now. Can't even remember the build up to the game. All I remember is being in a factory in New Zealand looking for Jess's teddy that she'd lost, to then the haka was going on in front of me. That's sort of blocked out all of that until the haka was sort of going on. But yeah, I'm still sort of processing the whole day. It was obviously, like, now looking back, I played in a World Cup final, which is an amazing achievement. I'm obviously so proud, and I know my family is so proud.
Is there something you're kind of most proud of now, or you kind of have a fondest memory from England so far? It's
very difficult. Can I have 2?
Yeah, of course you can.
So I think one was definitely the sort of the bus ride and the walk through to the Twickenham game against France. That was amazing. I'm sure a lot of the girls have said, but I can't even put into words how amazing that feeling was, walking into the stadium that day with, you know, all the fans like shouting and everything. It was just crazy. And then probably my other one is sort of like off pitch, but like the actual friends I've made from it. Like I wouldn't have ever made sort of friends, you know, like Sarja and Maud, who I'm best friends with now. Like they're sort of really, really special to me, and I wouldn't have made them without like sort of playing for England. And yeah, they'll sort of be friends for life, and yeah, that's sort of like a massive, massive thing for me.